This is a restricted emergency transmission for all residents across the globe. You were not meant to receive this signal, but it's already too late. Do not look at the sky tonight, especially if you see two moons. It always begins with something small, a slight shift in the tides. Crows disappearing in clusters. Your dog growls at your bedroom window, but nothing is there. The night air hums, low and steady, like a radio left on in another room. Streetlights don't flicker orange anymore. They flicker blue. People start saying, "The moon looked strange last night." They stop saying it after the third night, or they say it too late. The first case was reported in Havers Creek, a quiet town most people had forgotten. A 17-year-old named Eli had always been fascinated by the night sky. On that night, he decided to live stream what he called a moon glitch, a rare event he hoped to catch on camera. The clock read 2:41 a.m. when Eli stepped outside, phone in hand, pointing the camera upward. The sky was clear, but something was wrong. There were two moons, perfectly round, hanging side by side above the tree-line. He laughed nervously, talking to his viewers, making jokes to mask the growing unease in his voice. "Guys, look at this. Two moons. This can't be real, right?" Suddenly, Eli's laughter stopped. His eyes fixed on the sky, wide and unblinking. The second moon seemed to stare back, an impossible, dark smile spreading across its surface. The camera feed flickered, then the audio reversed into a deep, grating hum. On screen, Eli's face twisted into a smile that was too wide, too empty, his eyes black pits that swallowed the light. The stream abruptly ended. Search parties scoured the forest, the fields, every corner of Havers Creek. But Eli was gone. No trace, no explanation. The only thing left behind was his phone, lying on the ground where he had last stood. The battery was fully charged. The screen was still on, still recording. And if you listen closely, the faint reversed audio of that night lingers, waiting. Days later, just a few towns over, another strange call came through. Just 3 days after Eli vanished in Havers Creek, a disturbing report came in from Gordon Station, hundreds of miles away. An elderly man named Harold called the local news at exactly 9:03 p.m., his voice shaky and urgent. He said, "The sky, it's tilted wrong. Like everything's off balance." Security cameras caught him leaving his home barefoot, moving slowly down the street as if pulled by an unseen force. His head tilted upward, eyes locked on the sky. Then he began whispering a name, a strange, broken word no one could recognize or repeat. Neighbors reported strange noises around Harold's house, soft chanting in a language no one understood, drifting through the night. For 3 days, Harold didn't answer his door. Concern grew. When a search party finally found him, he was kneeling alone in a wide field on the edge of town, face turned to the sky. His eyes were wide open but completely blind, coated with a thick white film that glowed faintly in the dark. Harold never spoke normally again. Instead, he repeated one phrase over and over, barely audible. They made a second one. It watches while the first one sleeps. No one knows who they are. No one knows what the second one means. But just like in Havers Creek, something ancient and watching had arrived in the sky, and it wasn't alone. A week later, something else began to happen in District 12. A week after Harold was found in Gordon Station, another strange event unfolded in District 12, a small suburban neighborhood still reeling from the earlier incidents. At exactly 6:58 a.m., the school bus camera captured a routine morning route. The bus was filled with children, their chatter quiet but normal. Then, one by one, the children began pointing silently at the horizon outside the windows. Suddenly, the audio cut out completely. The video feed glitched, flickering erratically. When the image stabilized, the bus was empty. The seats were vacant. The doors stood wide open, swaying gently in the cold morning air. In one frame, barely visible above the clouds, two faint silhouettes hovered, twin crescents hanging unnaturally in the sky. They seemed to curve upward, like smiles stretched across the darkness. No children were ever found. No trace of the driver. Just the empty bus and the two moons watching silently. The sky was no longer the sky anyone remembered. It was something else. Something waiting. That night, the hum began again, louder this time, wrapping itself around every town, every home. And with it came a warning: do not face the two moons. If you see two moons, do not look at them. Cover all windows. Avoid reflective surfaces. They learn through your gaze. If the sky begins to hum, remain underground for no less than 3 hours. You'll be tempted to speak. Do not. The sound rides your breath. If someone knocks and says they've seen the moons, do not let them in. Even if it's your mother, especially if it's your mother. If your reflection moves on its own, break the mirror. Immediately, it's already watching from behind the glass. It knows you by your face. If you see a loved one standing in the yard, smiling up at the sky, that person is no longer real. Do not answer. At first, it's just in your dreams. You walk through a desert of silver dust. The sky splits above you. Twin moons stare down. You wake up with dirt in your mouth. Old photos shift. A second moon appears in the background where there wasn't one before. Your voice falters on familiar names. Clocks freeze at 2:41 a.m., and you don't remember why that matters. You begin to lose nouns, then verbs, then time. Days pass and the sun doesn't rise. Only the moons. Your neighbor tells you, "I remember when there was just one." I think, but he's wrong. The sky has always had two moons. You just forgot the forgetting. This message is no longer local. If you are seeing this, the moons are already above your town. Your window may show only one. That's the trick. Never trust the first glance. Remember, the sky is watching you now. Signal distorts. Voice splits into multiple layers, overlapping, whispering. When the second moon smiles, it's already inside.